Of it's the evil and the ugliness of people's hearts these days is everywhere.
This is Frankie Rose's Think Tank. Here's your host, Frankie Rose.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Think Tank. So we're going to be watching the Michelle Troconis trial today, but you know what? There is so much going on today. We've got this guy, Adam Montgomery. He's making an appearance today. We've also got Alex Murdaugh, who is making an appearance today. And there is not an appearance in the Karen Reed case, but I've been talking to attorney Melanie Little, and she did give me permission to stream her dog bite expert video. So she is in the description, and if you're not familiar with her, you want to be. She is on the ball. So we've also got Rex Sherman, who is in court today. And we're hoping that he will be facing charges for the passing of Maureen Brainard Barnes. That is what it's looking like. So I'm praying. She was part of the Gilgo Four, the four ladies that were found fairly close together. They were each in burlap sacks. So 3 of them have already been charged. He's been charged for the 3 of them. And then we've got Maureen Brainard Barnes that has taken a little bit longer. I'm not quite sure if this has something to do with the DNA that they were waiting to come back. There's a few different reasons this could have taken a little bit longer, but he is going to be facing the judge today, and let's hope that's what is happening. So we also have in court today, we have the Treehouse case. So I am hoping to get that out to you guys later. This is the Treehouse. And I'm hoping to be able to stream bits and pieces of this later because we had started watching it. So as far as most of these arses go, this is basically how I feel about them. So there is that. Hey, Tony, good to see you, friend. Melanie Little is a boss. Can't wait for the K9 expert, Garrett Wing. Oh, my word. That has to be one of the better vehicles. Sorry, one of the better videos, not vehicles, videos that I have seen in a long time that gives great explanation as to how they're believing that the damage that was done to his arm is not from, they're saying that that is abrasions. To me, they do not look like abrasions. They look like literal bite marks. So we'll be looking into that as well. I am really looking forward, actually, to streaming that because what? So thanks again to attorney Melanie Little for giving me access to her content. Like I said, she is in the description, so follow her as well. Yeah, like this canine expert, ooh la la la. Alex Murdaugh is a done deal. He is irrelevant at this point. I couldn't agree more, friend. I know, right? To me, that is basically the perfect way to describe these people. Blech. Oh my word. Yeah. He went in blind and knew right away what it was. Hashtag free Karen Reed. Yeah, this is the thing, with as far as that case goes, they get coroners and they get these people that are looking at these dog bites. Well, is a professional someone who has dealt with canines from eh, different cop shops, different police? He's dealt with that since birth. His dad was also a dog handler for law enforcement. So I don't know. I think he would do great if he gets called as a witness. He really, really should, because there is not a better explanation than the one he gave. I was doing some research on the cop case, and he had a beef with the nephew because he showed up with friends at his house partying. Oh, is that right? Okay, then. A person training dogs to bite would know. And that's the thing. He is literally training these dogs how to be cop police dogs. And he gets them from young and he trains them to attack the bad guys. So if there's anybody that would know what a dog bite looks like, it's going to be this guy. But supposedly the nephew wasn't present at the house when he passed. Oh my word. This is such a snaky case as well, friend. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to convict her. They changed their stories, in my personal opinion, every time we turn around. There is another story. So, but today we're going to be looking at the Jennifer Dulos case. Now, she was, I don't know, declared missing, and then she was declared deceased later on, probably due to the fact that they weren't able to find anything except what was left in that garage, right? So I don't know. Jennifer Dulos left behind 5 kids, 5 of them. So I am heartbroken over this. Dulos, he unalived himself.
Are we on, Madam Monitor?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's do this,
Concluded the
guys.
last session with an offer of proof concerning the technology of detection of hemoglobin. Attorney Manning, have you concluded that offer of proof?
Yes, Your Honor. I would just like to be heard on it if I can.
Yes.
Thank you. With respect to the presumptive test, Your Honor has already ruled that it is admissible. What I would like to clarify, I know Your Honor is concerned with respect to the conclusive nature, if there's any, on the direct examination. What I would like to reiterate is the state is in no way seeking out a representation from the witness that this is a conclusory test. Number one, because it's not. Number two, because I don't believe Detective Riley testified to that, nor will he. What I would indicate is fall back on the many arguments that we had on Friday concerning the fact that it goes to its weight, not its admissibility, and would focus as well on the fact that it can be cross-examined, which I'm sure Attorney Shohern will cross-examine on that subject. Just because something is inconclusive does not mean it is inadmissible. With respect to the nature of the testimony, Your Honor, the witness was very clear that he was trained by the lab, that he did this test, I forget how many times, but for how many years, numerous times. He was also very clear that it's a presumptive test, that it could be anything from human blood, animal blood, to also come out with radishes or something that is not blood related. all of that can go to before the jury and they can make their own determination. It really is, in the state's view, up to the jury to determine, in light of all the evidence that's presented, whether or not what Detective Riley testified to is blood or radishes. So the state would offer it.
Attorney Shawna.
Yes. What the state has not indicated is that there was no confirmatory test whatsoever. I spent the weekend looking for it following when they took a swipe, when it went to the lab. There's no evidence this is even blood. So therefore, not only has it no probative value, as Moody points out by itself, there's no confirmatory test whatsoever. But I'll go further. It was then sent to the DNA department at the state lab, and they found no DNA of Jennifer Dulos in that sample. There was some unknown DNA that they found, but it did not apply to anyone connected to this case. So wholly aside from the fact that that this is not a matter, as the Supreme Court said, where it's inconclusive, the Supreme Court has said it has no evidentiary value, no probative value whatsoever. Your Honor allowed as I understand it, the limited information, because when it was collected on the floor, there was a suggestion that it was then part of the blood. It was a visible, there were some visible drops that were believed to be blood. And then Your Honor said it was sent on. But this now has to do with the Chevy Suburban. There is no evidence of blood. I want to emphasize that will be introduced. That was even, to my knowledge, tested. I was looking for a confirmatory test. Therefore, and it's not the DNA, there was no DNA of Jennifer Dulos in there. So the sole purpose is prejudicial. The sole purpose is to give the false impression, and I'll emphasize, false impression that Mrs. Dulos might have been in the rear of that compartment, and it's going to be, I don't know when, somewhere down the road where I'm only going to be able to cross-examine to show
These
that
guys
it
are
was
not playing
related
fair.
to the case. So the state has, in my view, tried to introduce something that has zero evidentiary value, never mind getting to the weighing of probative versus highly prejudicial. It's to suggest falsely. It would be, in my view, it's as erroneous as putting on false testimony, perjured testimony, because it has no value even down the road. So the court made a ruling based on just what was presented at the time. We're going to allow a detective who collected samples now to testify as to its meaning, when all he did, as far as I can tell, is he gets kits from the lab and has taught how to use it. I note that phenolphthalein, which is one of the things in the kit, you know, previously, I don't have one now, I had an in-ground swimming pool at my house. That's what you test for chlorine levels. It turns red. If it's too dark, it gets bright red. If it's too little, it's pink. So that's what we're talking about. A little kit, you spray it in this case, or you put some on, you dab it on. And I think, what was the second thing? Peroxide. Again, I don't have that much familiarity with hydrogen peroxide other than it's used for infection sometime.
Why are they fighting to get this in?
But
to
the
keep this
fact that
out
he's going
so
to
bad?
then go on and explain what it is when he has no scientific acumen whatsoever, there's no training in that, when the jury's going to be hearing this based on what I submit as a lay opinion, and then later on at some point we're going to hear it didn't lead anywhere. So I don't even understand why it's being offered.
If I can just address the fact that counsel is comparing it to perjured testimony here, I want to talk about false representations. There are two items that I think are at issue and should be separated and clarified. One, the presumptive test that Detective Riley talked about with respect to the tissues or the paper towels, which I think was what the objection came from. The other, he is now throwing into that same argument and objection is the luminol pictures, which is the trauma.
That's my understanding, Tony.
So just to keep those totally separate here, with respect to the paper towels in the presumptive test that Detective Riley did on that, as well as numerous items in the garage that day, the state will stand on its argument, but also reiterate the fact that a confirmatory test was not done at the lab and it's purely on a presumptive level makes it even more clear to the jury the nature of this testimony. This is a presumptive test. It is inclusive. It's inclusive. It's not a conclusory lab test. It could be A, B, or C. Detective Riley is going to testify to that. It is clear. The jury can give it the weight it deserves. Switching to now the luminol, we can talk about false representations. Counsel indicated on Friday to the court that there was testing done on that trunk that came back that there was no blood in that Chevy Suburban. There was no testing that was done with respect to blood on that trunk. So that representation is completely false. With respect to the luminol pictures, Detective Riley, when he testifies to it, and when we get there, which I believe was Your Honor's ruling on Friday, they were admitted for ID only until the offer of proof would come with respect to those photographs, which the state was not able to elicit. But apparently we're talking about that now. Those, Your Honor, again, presumptive nature. It's a presumptive test. It is what it is. Just because it is inconclusive does not make it inadmissible in light of all the other evidences presented.
Thank you. First, the court will address the contention that the jury will receive a false impression that the blood of Jennifer Dulos was found in the vehicle. The jury will hear the testimony from this witness and essentially is not testifying as an expert. He's testifying about his training as to what he was trained to conclude based on certain circumstances and results.
Mhm.
If
Why
the
are they
jury
fighting this
hears
so bad?
testimony about a presumptive test, and the jury has to understand what the term presumptive means. That's going to be up to the state or the defense or both. The testimony by this witness and the wide open avenue for cross-examination, in this court's view, does not allow the jury to fall simply into a hole of false impressions. Court will allow the testimony.
Fair. There you go.
Bring the jury in, please.
Boom. Like I said, why are they fighting this so much? I would have thought that would have been part of discovery if they have the information.
Is the court also going to allow this witness to explain what the test does without a foundation as to his scientific, lack of scientific ability, or is he just going to be able to state that he collected it for that reason?
Well, the court is going to wait to hear the questions.
Fair.
Counsel has the opportunity to object.
Here comes the jury. I don't know what nationality she is. She's got a beautiful accent, actually. Me and my accents, I just love them.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. The counsel stipulate to the presence of all of the jurors.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Is your witness here?
He is, Your Honor. State would recall.
Guilty or innocent?
Riley.
That will be the question.
I may just inquire if everybody's television.
And Detective Riley is still under oath. You may be seated, Detective.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So again, later I'll be going through the Attorney Melanie Little's video of the dog bite expert. She gave me permission this morning. We talked for a couple of days, and she has no problem with sharing. So I totally appreciate that. And again, she is in the
Just for purposes of
description.
the record, your full name.
Yes, it's Matthew Riley, Reilly. Yes, ma'am.
If I may just have a moment, Your Honor, my wire got disconnected for the television. Thank you.
Doo-doo-doo. I can agree with that, Perry.
Your Honor, for the record, I'm calling up states 9. I believe when we left off, it would be on file 3. And photograph 8. Okay. Detective Riley.
I think they've gone unchecked
Good, ma'am.
for way too long.
Just to recap a couple questions, if you can take a look at the screen behind you. Again, states 9, file 4, picture 8. And briefly, if you could just describe what's depicted in that photograph.
Yes, that's a
Oh,
paper
okay.
towel roll
Okay.
that I found on the counter of the kitchen island.
I would
It's
think you're
69
right.
rolls.
And the 13,
The 13 is a evidence placard that denotes it's going to be seized as State Police Exhibit 13.
and did you put that 13 there?
Yes.
Picture 9, what does that depict?
That depicts some of the blood-like stains I found on the paper towel roll.
Now, sir, did you do anything with that?
They've actually got a fair amount, Brent.
I field tested it for the presence of blood, ensured it was photographed and
In my opinion.
documented, and then I packaged it.
Okay, a couple of questions if I can.
Yes.
When you say field test, what does that mean?
I field tested it for blood. I use a screening test called the Castlemeyer test.
So when he was dumping these bags, she was in the vehicle with him.
And for this
And this
test,
is
I used 2
after.
chemical reagents, phenolphthalein and hydrogen peroxide. And
If you can just walk me through what exactly is a Castlemeyer test?
it's a presumptive blood test.
Want to object, Your Honor, and there's been lack of foundation.
I don't have the picture of it, but there is a picture of her opening the door while he's
What is
dumping
this
these
field?
bags, which they say contained
The
items from
objection
cleaning up
is-
that crime scene.
There's a lack of foundation. This witness can, well, I think the question is, what is a Castlemeyer test? Well, I thought the question was.
If I can, Your Honor, I'll withdraw it and go back. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit. Sir, have you received any training with respect to conducting presumptive tests?
Yes, I have.
What training have you received?
I've received training both at the State Police Forensic Lab on this particular test and in one of the crime scene courses I took at the University of New Haven on other tests.
With respect to this particular test, what year did you receive that training?
Sometime in the early 2000s.
And about how many tests have you performed?
Thousands, man.
Okay. Now, asking exactly how do you perform this test?
You perform the test by taking a swab, one of those long-handled Q-tips, taking some of the material, the suspected blood, onto the swab. Then you put a drop of the phenolphthalein on it, wait a couple of seconds. Then you put a drop of the hydrogen peroxide on it. And if you get an immediate color change, it'll turn a bright pink color. That's a positive test.
Okay. Now, I'm sorry, did you say the phenol? I'm going to What's your that?
Phenolphthalein.
Phenolphthalein. Where do you get that?
I get that chemical from the State Police Forensic Lab in Meriden,
And the other item that you use?
which is the hydrogen peroxide and the sterile water that I use as a solvent. I get those from the chemical supply house.
And are these common tools on the van?
Yes.
Okay. Are they designated in different tubes? Can you walk me through how you store those chemicals?
The chemicals are stored in a refrigerator on the van, in a, almost looks like a plastic fishing box.
Sir, about how many residences or vehicles have you processed in your career with the Western District Major Crimes van?
Countless, ma'am.
Okay.
It's approximately 1,000 crime scenes.
And how many years were you with the van?
14, ma'am.
Okay. And how many times have you utilized that test that you were trained in?
I've utilized this particular test thousands of times.
Now, with respect to the actual process of conducting the test, can you walk us through what you do? I believe you indicated you swab the item.
Yes. So prior to using this test, I'll test the reagents on a known blood source in the van. We use horse blood or pig blood. And then for each suspected blood stain, I'll go ahead and take a swab of the suspected material. In this case, I took it from inside the cardboard tube. Put a little bit on the Q-tip, treated it with 1 drop of phenolphthalein, waited a second or two, then I put a drop of the hydrogen peroxide on.
Does the swabbing of the actual item damage or alter the item itself?
No, it does not.
Now, you mentioned you did a control with animal blood or horse blood.
Yes.
Do you keep that in the van?
Yes, we do.
Okay, why do you do that?
It validates the test. It ensures that the reagents are working properly.
Do you do that every time you use that same reagent?
At the beginning of processing, yes.
And if you were to open a new reagent, would you test it first?
Yes.
Okay. And did you do that test here on this day on May 25th, 2019?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if it changes color, what color does it change into?
It changes a bright pink.
And what are the results? What does it mean when it changes a bright pink?
It's a presumptive blood test. It just tells us that the material is presumably blood, but it doesn't tell us whether or not it's human blood or animal blood. We will get a positive test result on any blood.
Your Honor, I'm going to object now. This goes into scientific testimony, and his opinion as to the conclusion of what it shows is not based on his training or his scientific acumen.
Well, the response was, it's a presumptive test, and that the presumptive test is not, as the court understands the testimony, limited to human hemoglobin. And so the objection is overruled.
Is it conclusory in any way?
No, further testing needs to be done by the forensic lab.
If I just may have one moment, Your Honor. And did you conduct that test on Exhibit 13, the paper towel swabbing that you did?
Yes, I did.
And what was the result?
The test was positive.
Actually, I should ask you this, sir, if I can. With respect to the kitchen area of 69 Wells, did you seize anything else in that area?
Yes.
What did you seize?
I found another blood-like stain on the faucet,
And is that the kitchen faucet?
the kitchen faucet on that center island.
Actually gonna draw your attention sir, to the screen behind you, states 9, file 3, picture 10. If you can, just explain what's depicted in that photograph.
This is the kitchen sink faucet on that island in the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
And what you see there, marked by a adhesive label marked Exhibit 79.
No.
is
Oh, well said.
indication Of a dilute blood-like stain.
If you can, could you please, Your Honor, may I
Yes.
ask him? Sir, if you could approach the screen, please, and just point out to where you're addressing.
It's right in this area.
Okay, the lower right-hand corner, I'm actually gonna scroll in. If you can, sir, there's a white, I guess, ruler marking there. Did you put that there?
Yes.
And EX 79, what does that mean?
That's just our designation, and it's going to be State Police Exhibit 79.
And the marking that drew your attention, is that located on the screen with it zoomed in?
This area here, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do, if anything, with respect to that area?
This area was field tested, again, using that Castlemeyer test. And the area was marked as an exhibit. And then I later collected a sample of this stain with 2 swabs that were moistened with sterile water.
Okay. Couple of questions on that. You tested it utilizing the same procedure that you just testified to?
Yes, it's always the same procedure.
Did you wear gloves while you did so?
Yes,
And any other protective gear?
just gloves.
Now, with respect to the Castlemeyer, can I call it KM?
Yes.
Is that okay? With respect to the KM test, what was the result?
The test was positive.
And you indicated you took 2 swabbings. Was that after the test or before?
After the test.
And why 2?
We take 2 swabbings just for more sample, to collect more sample.
With respect to this kitchen sink area, did you take any more samples or seize anything on the sink faucet?
Yes, up in this area here, we found another dilute blood stain.
Picture 11,
Yes.
if you can, sir. Could you please point out where and what you see in that photograph?
Yes, this is the dilute blood-like stain we found.
What did you do, if anything?
Again, the area was initially field tested using that KM test. The test yielded a positive result.
Could I just have a continuing objection so I don't have to keep interrupting on this issue with regard to the presumptive?
Thank you, overruled.
And following the test, I marked it as Exhibit 14 and later collected it with that same process of utilizing 2 swabs.
And with respect to the kitchen, sir, anything else in the kitchen area?
Yes, they're down below in the cabinet underneath the sink. We found some items of interest.
I'm wondering, I haven't noticed yet, is there
9,
2
picture 12.
kitchens?
What does that depict?
This depicts, let's say, Exhibit 15, which was a blood-like stain that we found on the handle.
I was looking at those, Tony, and there's 5 of them. So I bet you there's 1 fish for each pod. That's my guess.
On that.
Yes, it's this area.
I was noticing that too.
What did
Those
you
little
do, if
fighting
anything?
fish. They're beautiful.
Again, it was field tested with KM. Positive test result. It was marked, photographed, and collected with that same 2 swab process.
And it says EX 15.
I'm a little busy in the background trying to figure
Simply
everything
exhibit.
out as far as these cases go.
Now, inside, I see there's a yellow placard, 17. What does that mean?
We found 2 items of interest in there
Actually,
inside the cabinet.
if I can, I'm gonna go back one, actually, if I can.
Sure.
Have a,
Yes, beta bowls.
if I can,
Beta
states
fish.
9.
Thank you, Dandy.
Picture 14, please. And
I used to have them all over my house
You can explain
with
what that
bamboo
photograph
put in
is,
there,
please.
The 2 items
just
of
in
interest,
vases and bamboo.
collected from underneath the sink were exhibit 16.
Yeah, so did I. Wasn't that something else? It was a little bit creepy because it was at
Exhibit
night, that
17,
first
which
one.
was a box of white.
But there is the other one done in the day.
Did you make the decision to seize 16?
Yes.
Why?
The gloves had a texture to them, they're dishwashing gloves. And I previously on our walkthrough, we found a plug
Look at the
stain
size of this
pattern
place.
in the garage on the floor that appeared to be glove print.
I'm not finding a lot of pictures of the inside, but this is a couple.
It was somewhat similar to these gloves here.
And the 16 what does that delineate?
Again, State Police Exhibit 16.
And 17?
17 is the box.
Isn't
of,
that incredible?
Trash bags.
Did you make the decision to seize those, sir?
Yes.
Why?
Just because we found what appeared to be evidence of cleanup inside the garage. So, it was, we assumed that possibly one of these trash bags may have been used. And if found, maybe they could match it back to that box.
What day did you collect this evidence?
This was collected on May 25th of 2019.
Thank you.
9,800
Anything
square
else
feet,
in
I do
the
believe.
kitchen that you seized or swapped that day?
We found another blood-like stain up on the edge of the countertop.
You've got a big heart, my friend.
What does that
Oh,
mean,
it's
sir?
true. Every window had a
Yeah,
great
that's the,
view. I noticed that too.
This blood-like stain here.
Lush,
That's the
lush
separation.
looking,
And what did
very
you do, if
green.
anything?
We field tested it for blood using that KM test. It was positive, and then we collected it using that same swabbing method.
2 swabs as well?
2 swabs.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's marked as states 16. I'm sorry, it's actually states 9, file 3, states.
Do you think it could have had 2
16.
kitchens,
Oh,
Tony?
What is that?
This is a toothbrush that I found in the.
I'm doing the
bathroom
Cheech and Chong.
upstairs on the 2nd floor.
And there is a yellow placard 31. What does that mean?
We seized that as.
That's a good
State Police
question.
Exhibit 31.
Why did you seize the toothbrush?
In missing person investigation, we attempted.
Yeah.
A pseudonym, or something that a pseudonym DNA profile can be developed from. We do this by either collecting the missing person's toothbrush or razor, something of that nature.
By missing person, do you mean Jennifer Dulos?
Yes, ma'am, Jennifer Dulos.
On May 25th, 2019, did you collect anything else from the house?
Yes, several other items.
You can have a seat, sir. Actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to show you what's been marked as 17. Actually, it's 9, file 3, picture 17. What is that?
That is a hair that we found on the garage floor.
Now, you indicated you did not process the garage on 525. Did you take this out of the garage on 525?
Yes, I did.
Okay, why this item?
Because the hair was loose and it could have easily blown away.
If I can, I'm just going to scroll up. Is the hair depicted in that photograph?
Yes.
Now, with respect to, actually, I apologize, strike that. And I'm going to show you what's marked as picture 18. What is that photograph?
That is one of the seals that we use to seal up the house at the conclusion of processing on the 25th. That is on the, appears to be the central garage bay.
That red tape that's depicted in the center part of the photograph, did you put that anywhere else in the house?
Yes, on the garage bay doors and the front door. And
Do you recall any other ones?
not off the top of my head, ma'am.
Okay. With respect to, oh, yes, actually, right above the red tape, right, that the gray marking, what is that?
That's a garage door remote.
Okay. And did you take any action with respect to that?
Yes, on the 25th, I swabbed that in an attempt to collect any latent DNA material that may have been on it.
Okay, did you use that same 2-swab process?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, on the 25th, did you? Again,
That's
why
a good
didn't you
question.
process
I don't know the answer to
garage
that.
On the 25th?
Our plan was to call in a bloodstain expert to come in to process the garage with us.
And who did you call?
It was then Lieutenant Mark Davison.
Okay. And what day was he scheduled to process the scene with you?
Objection irrelevant with this witness.
Well,
And
the
here's-
question is, on what day was he scheduled to process the scene? And the objection is relevant, overruled.
He was scheduled to come on the 27th, which was Monday.
Now, did you go anywhere else on May 25th?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go?
In the morning, I went to Lapham Road in New Canaan.
Okay, sir, I'm gonna have you take a look behind you. This would
If
be.
you're new to the
page
channel,
955,
subscribe. And if
do
you aren't
recognize what's depicted on that photograph?
subscribed,
Yes.
What is it?
well,
That's in.
let's subscribe, like, and
overview
share.
of, the area of Lapham Road that I visited on the morning of the 25th.
If you could, would you mind standing up and just pointing to the area that you visited that morning?
I appreciate all of you.
Was journaling this area here.
Why did you go there? You can have a seat, sir.
Well, before you proceed, counsel, would you just indicate for the record what quadrant? of the
Excuse my
photograph
distraction
which
at
is
the moment.
pointed to?
I apologize, Your Honor. For the record, that would be the middle to lower center right area. Is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, why did you respond there?
We learned that the New Canaan Police Department had located Jennifer Dulos's Chevy Suburban on that road.
I'm trying to look at
and
4
that they
cases
were,
right now, trying to see how I'm
They were
going to
going to
get
be in the
this to you
process of
guys.
towing it back to their police department. We wanted to go there first to take a look at the outside of it, photograph it before it was loaded onto the tow truck.
What time did you go to Lapham Road that day?
It was in the morning, approximately 7 o'clock.
What did you do when you arrived on scene?
I looked at the outside of the vehicle and then photographed the 4 sides of it.
Did you walk around the entire vehicle?
I believe so, yes.
And with respect to, well, if I can, I'm going to show you, you can take a look behind you. This is again file 5, states 9. Picture 2, do you recognize that photograph?
Yes.
What is it?
That's the photograph of the Chevy Suburban I was speaking about.
Did you take that photograph?
Yes.
Now, with respect to walking around the vehicle, how close was it to the I guess, foliage and trees next to it?
I believe the right-hand side of the vehicle was right up against the bushes.
And the right-hand side, would that be the driver's or the passenger side?
I'm sorry, the passenger side.
Thank you. And the direction of the vehicle parked, I guess, is that, actually, if I can, just go back briefly to picture 1. Sir, do you know what road is on the bottom here going from left to right?
That's the Merritt Parkway,
Okay.
Route 15.
And with respect to the vehicle, how it was parked, do you know which direction it was facing? Was it towards or away from the Merritt
It
Parkway?
was facing the Merritt.
Now I'll show you picture 3. What does that depict?
That's the left or driver's side of the vehicle.
And picture 4.
That's the rear of the vehicle.
Now,
So
were
in
you
order
able
for this
walk
to
around the
happen,
vehicle over here on the
I
right
do
side?
believe,
See my cursor?
a personal opinion,
Not
that
completely.
she had to be driving
I really
another
just
vehicle
had
and
to-
picking him up.
From, where I could access.
He wasn't going to walk.
Did you find anything on that vehicle that you took note of?
I found some blood-like stains on the outside of the vehicle.
Where?
On the outside of the vehicle.
Okay, and where on the outside of the vehicle?
I believe it was on the rear bumper.
Did you photograph them?
Yes, I did.
Or it, I should say, I'm sorry. 5, states 5, what is that?
That's one of the blood-like stains I found on the vehicle.
Now, if I scroll in, it does not have, this photograph doesn't have a writing here. Did you put that white, I guess, measurement marker that we've seen?
Yes, I did.
Okay. There's nothing written on it. Is there a reason why?
They
I just,
absolutely
included in
did.
the
You're
photograph
right.
scale.
Did you process or take any
Oh.
action with the vehicle as it remained on scene?
Oh,
And what does 6 depict, please?
Again, that's another view of that same stain.
that's pretty big
Now,
compared to the other ones that
draw
we've
your
seen.
Attention back to May 27th. Well, actually, before I go there, I'm sorry, strike that. The evidence that you collected on May 25th.
I
you
wish
went
I
through some of the
could
swabbings,
explain that. I'm not
cleaned
sure.
through.
I haven't been following yet.
What happened to the evidence after you packaged it and gave it a evidence number?
The evidence was sealed, and I labeled them appropriately per our protocol. Some of the electronic evidence was turned over to the New Canaan Police Department so they could pursue those items, examine those.
With respect to the items that you were shown photographs of, what
Yes.
happened to those?
I secured those in the major crime van. And at the conclusion of processing, I drove those up to our headquarters in Litchfield, secured them in the evidence room. And then on the 27th in the morning, I returned to Litchfield, took them out of the evidence room, put them on the major crime van.
Yeah, I
drove them
think
back
that's
down
what
to
they're
New Canaan.
after, Tony. You betcha.
Why did you do that?
Because they were still in our custody.
Oh, I'd appreciate
Was
that,
it
Chopper.
a state
Thank
police
you,
case
thank
at this
you,
point?
thank you.
I'm not sure when that changed, ma'am. We wanted to keep the evidence together, and normally we turn over evidence to the local police departments when we do an assist all at once.
Okay. And on the 27th, did you drive the van to 69 Wells that day?
Yes.
And in the van, is there a place to store the evidence?
We usually keep it in a banker's box on the floor.
And when you arrived at 69 Wells Lane on May 27th, who was there?
A lot of the same crew from the 25th was there, with the addition of Detective Jamie Pierston and Lieutenant Mark Davison.
And between 525 and, well, strike that if I can, that photograph we showed you with the red tape
Yes.
on the doors, was that in the same location when you arrived back on 527?
Yes.
Was anyone from New Canaan Police Department on scene on 527?
They had posted a uniformed officer in the driveway.
Did you see anybody from New Canaan Police Department go into the residence with you that day or not with you? Did you just see them?
Yeah, they were just in the driveway, ma'am.
Did they enter the garage?
Not while we were processing it.
Now, on May 27th, did you process any
Thanks,
other area
Franky.
other than the
I
garage?
appreciate it.
Yes, we again continued to look through the rest of the house. In addition to the garage, we also did a latent print exam in various areas of the house.
Did you do that before you processed the garage or after?
It was pretty much ongoing. However, the latent print exam was probably one of the last things we did.
Why do you do that as part of the last things you do?
Because we use standard fingerprint powders and it really makes a mess.
All right. Was in the processing of the garage, was the garage,
Buckle in here.
I guess, divided up?
Yes, we came up with a grid system just to make documentation easier. We laid out a grid with yellow tape similar to masking tape that has measurements on it. And we gave them letter designations, A, B, C, D, all the way up to G.
You mentioned Detective Pearson was present with you on 527. What was her assignment?
Her assignment was to create a sketch map of the garage.
Have you reviewed those sketch maps, sir?
Yes.
I'm gonna draw your attention to the screen behind you. I am in States 9, File 6.
Okay.
And actually, if I may.
I have a thing for accents.
Do you recognize what's depicted on the screen behind you, sir?
Yes, that is one of the finished maps that Detective Pearson created.
Did you have a
Not
particular
to-
process or procedure you conducted throughout the garage that day?
The garage was examined, for evidence along with the documentation done by Lieutenant Davison. We kind of worked it together.
Now, I'm going to ask you a couple questions, starting with garage A, marked A, if I can. Do you recognize the map behind you, sir?
Yes.
Okay. With respect to the letters and numbers that are printed inside of A, for instance, A18, A17, A16, what exactly are
My
those supposed to
chinchillas
be?
are going crazy.
Those numbers are for individual stains that Lieutenant Davison designated for his examination.
And the EX numbers or the EX letters?
Right, so those were samples that I took for DNA identification purposes. So Lieutenant Davison was examining the bloodstain patterns, and in his examination, he selected stains, gave them those letter designations, and from each stain pattern, I chose one and collected it.
Why did you only choose one?
Really, it's just to get a representative DNA profile from that stain pattern or region of the garage.
And as you say, you chose one. What did you do? I mean, if you could walk us through the process briefly.
Using the same method that I used on the previous blood-like stains, I field tested it with a KM test. Noted that, whether it was positive or negative, and then using that two swab process with swabs moistened with sterile water, I collected the stains.
can just have a moment. It is. So just a couple questions if I can. If you can take a look behind you. Showing the map on the left, but on the right side, it's photograph 2 out of file 6 on states 9. What does that depict?
That depicts the photograph, an overall photograph of Area A, and corresponding overhead view on the sketch map of Area A.
Was that prior to processing?
This was in the process.
Sounds
This was
great,
the
Dandy.
beginning of that examination.
And
Well said, Tony.
okay. Picture 3 of that same file. Sir, what does that depict?
Again, that's just another view of Area A.
If I can, just draw your attention, ask you some questions about these. There's a sort of like an upside down L-shaped file. What is that there for?
That's to help give scale to, may I approach the
If you
screen now?
can, thank you.
So you can see this discoloration here. That appeared to us to be white mark, where maybe some blood-like material was on the floor, and there was an attempt made to wipe it up.
Can't hear.
I'm sorry, sir, if you can, just move that microphone behind you, maybe up a little. The one. Thank you. And the yellow arrow up on the upper middle part of that photograph, what does that depict?
That's usually placed by the photographer to denote north.
So it's directional?
It's directional, correct.
And this yellow marking, is that the yellow marking you were talking about
That-
before?
Correct, that's that yellow masking tape I was talking about.
Okay. Now, with respect to these 3 items, did you put those down?
No, I did not.
And over here on the right-hand side, we have that same, I guess, ruler marking. What does that depict?
That's, that same L scale is being used to denote another stain pattern found on the garage floor.
And is
close
that,
to the wall.
oh, I'm sorry. Is that for documentation?
Yes.
Now, with respect to the rest of the garage floor, there's these little dots here all over. I'm gonna push the photograph up if I can. All these little markings. What are those?
I mean, it's a garage floor, so you have plant material, you have, you know, other types of vegetation, you have sand, road salt.
Now, I'm going to show you picture 4, sir. In that same file. What is this?
This is part of Lieutenant Davison's examination of the garage floor.
Were you present when these markers were placed down?
When they were placed down, no, but I was, I observed these in place.
And just to, and what do they read, please?
They read A12, A13, A14, and A15 with my marking of State Police Exhibit 40.
And this is this corresponding on the map on the left-hand side of the screen?
Yes, in this area here.
Okay. And with respect to states 40, did you utilize that same 2-swab process in swabbing it?
It's the same process. It's First KM tested and then collected with the 2 swabs.
And the KM test?
Was positive.
And just to clarify, this is a, which one is the, what is this depicted?
That is stained A12.
Show you a series of photographs. If you can just point to the sketch map just to correspond where they are located. If you can.
A12.
Thank you. Now state 6,
A13.
state 7,
A14.
and state 8.
It's A15 where exhibit 40 was sampled.
And is that the area that you swabbed that day, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. That's state 9. With respect to these areas, did you mark these or delineate these in any way?
I did not place those scales.
Now, with respect to this area, if you could tell me what this is?
This is a photograph taken overhead of stains denoted as A16, 17, and 18, along with exhibit 41, which is in this area here.
Now, just briefly, if I can, I just want to be clear. With respect to A16, 17, and 18, do you recall viewing those that
Yes.
day? Okay. And you took a swabbing off of which one?
Off of stain A18.
Okay, which is up here, right?
Correct.
Who took the photographs that day?
It was Detective Katie Keppel and Detective Bob Hazen.
Okay, so if you can, sir, same question, series of photographs, if you can just point to the screen where.
This
it
is stain A16, A17, and A18.
Do you recall, by the way, this is kind of leaning, I guess, angled one way. And then I'm going to draw your attention to the preceding 2 photographs, 17 and 16. Actually, I'm sorry, it's photographs 12 and 13, but A16 and A17. They're leaning the other way for the photographs, and the overview has them this way. My question is just, which way are they supposed to be?
The scales were not moved, if that makes things easier. The photographer was probably just standing on one side of the stain or the other.
In the course of the photography and processing scene, do the scales ever move?
Not on the garage floor in this case.
Oh. And I believe we went. And actually, did you review the part designated as garage B? And if I can, sir, do you recognize what is depicted on the screen there?
Yes, that is another.
Oh, I apologize, I hit the wrong.
Sure.
Button. There you go.
Again, that is the another part of the left side garage bay in the center of the garage.
Okay. Is the photograph 1 on states 9, file 7, photograph 1, is that area depicted on the, or is, I should say, the map, a depiction of an area on that photograph?
Yes,
If you could just point it out on the photograph, please.
it's this area here. You can see the B placard right there.
And for the record, that was the middle portion of the
The
photograph.
middle, correct.
Okay, now on this, we have, on the map portion, we have the numbers ranging from B3 all the way up to B11. Is there a B1 or 2?
That I don't know.
And states picture 2, does that depict an area depicted in the map?
Yes.
And states 3.
Yes, that's the right-hand side of the map.
Okay. States 4, what is on that photograph, please?
That's a fragment of paper towel that appeared to have blood-like stains on it that we found in Area B, at the left-hand side of the garage, and it's located right there on the sketch map. It's Exhibit 42.
For the record, you're pointing to the middle portion of the garage.
Hey, Melissa, how you
The-
doing?
Well, sorry, withdraw that. With respect to the 42, that paper towel, can I ask you to describe some of the, I guess, dots that are contained in the 42? What exactly?
This
does
part's
that
pretty
include?
dry, right?
Yes, this material here appears to be plant-like, maybe part of seeds or.
Did you take any swabbings of 42?
I did not,
Why not?
because I just seized the entire fragment of paper towel.
How did you seize it?
I put it in either a paper bag or a paper envelope.
Did you seize anything else out of that area?
That's the thing, Tony.
Yes.
What did you seize?
There
I
were
think everything
two,
ended up in those
stains,
trash cans.
B3, I took a sample of is Exhibit 38. B11, I took swabbings as Exhibit 39. And Exhibit 43, which I believe was another paper towel fragment.
Picture 5. What does that depict, sir?
Okay, that's another paper towel. It's a larger paper towel fragment with apparent blood
And
stain.
maybe she was unalived another way and just injured here?
What did you do, if anything, with the?
I don't know.
Yeah, I just ensured it was photographed, sketched into the map, and I seized in a similar manner as 42.
Did you take any swabbings?
I did not.
And if you can, sir, is what's on picture 6 depicted on the map as well?
This was the stain designated as B3 that I took swabbings of as Exhibit 38.
And did you do any testing on Exhibit 38 as well?
I did a KM test,
And the results?
positive.
Now, what does this depict, sir?
That is stain B4, located there.
And for same questions for the next couple, if you wouldn't mind just pointing out where it appears on the map corresponding with the picture. So picture 8, B5,
B5 is here,
picture 9, B6,
B6,
picture 10, B7 and B8,
B7, B8,
picture 11, B9,
B9,
picture 12, what does that show, sir?
So that is stains B9, B10, and B11, which are up in this area here. A sample of B11 I swabbed as Exhibit 39.
And that is, if you, okay, and the same swabbing process, same every,
Same swabbing process that was also tested with the KM test that was positive.
now, picture 13, what is that, sir?
That is, appears to be one of those flow-like stains, that swipe mark that we saw up in Area A.
And is this depicted on the map in any way?
I don't believe so.
Was that contained in area B at all?
Without seeing an overall shot, I really can say that.
Thanks, Dandy.
Let me see if I can- Here's the overview. Does picture one assist you in any way? And if it doesn't, that's, you could just say that.
It's hard to say now.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you if I can about the bottom part of that garage side. You could take a look. Are you familiar with Detective Pearson's map for C?
Yes, this is the portion of that left garage bay closest to the door.
And for the record, I'm going states 9. I am now in file 8. File 8, picture 1, what does that depict, sir?
That depicts that left garage bay. And area C is in kind of the closest to the driveway. It's this area here.
Okay. And for the record, he's pointing towards the middle bottom portion of the photograph. Picture 2. What is that a picture of, sir?
Those are some more of the blood-like stains we found on the garage floor.
And the yellow arrow again?
Again, denotes north.
Picture 3.
Yeah, I mean, who's really to say how she even passed?
That is area C.
It doesn't necessarily have to
with
leave a
some of the
whole
stains
bunch of
and,
DNA.
it's marked up.
We have the
I'll be interested to see what
placard right here.
comes
What is
out
that
here.
supposed to designate?
That designates another fragment of paper towel.
I can.
all of this stuff. It's dry. It takes a bit to focus on
Is that
those.
depicted on the photograph?
Yes.
What did you do, if anything?
Yeah, let's say though that he just knocked her out,
I
right?
collected it in the same
then-
manner as the other fragments of paper towel.
Yeah, attacked her another way to
paper.
delete her.
Did you take any swabbings?
I did not.
And I mean, as
And
far as
Sir,
Michelle Troconis
picture
goes,
4. And if you wouldn't mind, same thing, just to, if it is.
she very well
on
could
the
have
map
been
on the left
right
side,
here.
if you could.
We don't know yet.
Oh,
But we do know that they have
What
footage
has
of
just
her in the
happened, ladies and
vehicle with
gentlemen,
him
is that,
while he's
of course, the
dumping
entire
off
proceeding is recorded.
garbage bags just
Recording
on
system just went
random, on a
What we
random
ask you to do
street with a
in
garbage
terms of the deliberation,
for the public to
please do
use.
not discuss the case.
I know, Dandy. I agree with you. I agree. So it looks like there's going to be a hearing on Monday, January 29th for Alex Murdoch.
We're going to take our morning recess until 11:30. 11:30, Mr. Marshall.
All right.
Oh, I messed up there. Hold on. That's not what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do. All righty. Let's see here. It's not looking like the judge is keen on granting Alex Murdoch a new trial in the future. So let's see here. Give me 2 seconds here. Okay. Let's see here. Alex Murdaugh is appearing in court in Columbia, South Carolina, Monday ahead of an evidentiary hearing on January 29th. This is a preliminary hearing that will be overseen by South Carolina Supreme Court Chief Justice Jean Toll. This is the next step in the effort from Alex Murdaugh's attorney to overturn the March 23rd M conviction. Murdaugh's lawyers want another trial. So that would be in the death of his former wife and his youngest son, citing allegations that the court clerk improperly influenced the jury. The defense will get to put forth evidence at the 3-day hearing later this month. During the hearing, jurors and the clerk and even trial judge might have to testify under oath. Murdaugh is serving life imprisonment without parole after a jury found him guilty of the March deleting of Maggie and Paul, who is the youngest son, in June 2021. He got sentenced this November for stealing about $12 million to an additional 27 years behind bars under a plea deal that resolved scores of state crimes related to money laundering, breach of trust, and financial fraud. Toll must decide whether to run back a murder trial that lasted 6 weeks, involved over 70 witnesses, included about 800 exhibits. The state's highest court appoint Toll to oversee the weighty matter of a new judge after Judge Clifton Newman recused himself. Newman, who rose to celebrity in true crime circles for his deft guidance of the highly watched case, is set to leave the bench after reaching the mandatory retirement age of 72. Central to the appeal are the accusations that Colton County Clerk of Court Becky Hill tampered with the jury. Murdaugh's lawyers said in the September filing that the elected official asked jurors whether Murdaugh was guilty or innocent, told them not to believe Murdaugh's testimony, and pressured jurors to reach a guilty verdict for her own profit. Hill is also said to have flown to New York City to be with 3 jurors during their post-trial television interviews, and allegedly shared journalist business cards with jurors during the proceedings. What? Hill has denied the allegations in a sworn statement, saying she neither asked jurors about Murdaugh's guilt before deliberations nor suggested to them to commit the M's. Adding to the intrigue is the recent revelation that Hill plagiarized part of her book about the case. Hill's attorney acknowledged in a December 26th statement that Hill submitted a BBC reporter's writing to her co-author as if it were her own words. The attorney expressed Hill's remorse and said the book has been unpublished for the foreseeable future. Oh my God. Like, what? Unreal, guys. Unreal. So, yeah. I guess it looks like we're going to see him again on January 29th. Not a happy camper, is he? You remember how all those smiles and tears and yeah. And hey, his hair's no longer red. Yeah, I totally agree with that statement. Absolutely. I'm gonna have to yeah, I'll do something later, if not today, tomorrow. We'll see how this case goes with its breaks and what have you. I'll restream. I'll take a break when they go for lunch and set up another stream like I have been for the afternoon. And during that time, I'll take a good look at some of this stuff and see what I can do. Yeah. I don't mind streaming. I like to see the stuff my own self as it's happening. So I know that if I do, most of you all will too. Wonder how things are going for Harmony Montgomery's dad, that wonderful individual. Hmm. He's another one that sets off gag reflexes. Adam Montgomery, personal opinion. I think he's a monster in the greatest way. I just think he's a total monster. Rumor has it is that she passed away from him punching her in the face repeatedly. He makes me sick. So yeah, now we have to wait and find out. I am very, very curious as to what is going on with Rex Heuermann right now. I'm really hoping that he gets charged for Maureen Brainard Barnes passing. She was with these other three ladies in burlap, not far apart. There was the four of them. They call them the Gilgo Four. So today we're looking to try and get justice for Maureen Brainard Barnes. I still think that there is a lot happening as far as Rex Heuermann goes. You know, I think that there's more cases. I really do. We looked at this yesterday, was it? And there's still that Massapequa Park that I don't believe they've even looked at. And that scares me because I would not be surprised if there was something on that reserve. It concerns me. Yeah. Where is Harmony? Yeah, I mean, really, he's a monster. He is a complete monster. Adam Montgomery can fry in hell as far as I'm concerned. Some of these cases, I have a hard time being biased, and that's not what we're all about. We want justice. And in this case, I have very little doubt that Adam Montgomery did this. Very little doubt. Just looking here. So I really want to touch on the treehouse case as well. I want to do that dog bite video that attorney Melanie Little gave me permission to stream. But This is just a short break, so we won't be able to get into these at this point. So much going on. Oh my God. This is going to be a busy, busy year. Karen Reed, hopefully Brian Koberger sometime this year. We have Richard Allen that goes to trial. There are so many. And I really hope, well, I guess they're going to wait. My guess is, as far as Rex goes, is they're going to hold back for a little bit. And I'm thinking to go to trial, they're going to want to see it, see if, I guess, there's more victims out there. He's safe where he's at. We're safe with him being where he's at. He doesn't need to be on the streets. None of these guys do. A bunch of monsters, I say. So I'm going to be working on my logo right now, or I am working on my logo. I'm having problems with what I have. I don't like the way it's looking on merch. So I am trying to get something that works for us. Let's see here. I'm going to give it a whirl here. Give me some time. And I'm multitasking today. How's your weather out there? We're sitting, we're not doing too bad. We're like minus 15 or something. So I do like that. Oh, no, no. All right. So let's take a look. This is what we're talking about. When, oh, you see, there we are. There would be Michelle Troconis as Philo is throwing things in a random garbage bin. There we go. So smoking gun, no, but I have a hard time believing that she did not know what was going on. How's that possible? Especially when he's getting rid of evidence allegedly. I am going to try. Okay, let's see here. Well, 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 well. What the heck, eh? So, okay, let's see here. Hmm. How you guys doing in there? I'm sorry. I am so trying to figure something out. I'm trying. Oh, is it? Yeah, it's chilly. That's chilly. You betcha. You betcha. Okay, what the heck is going on here? Still a no. Okay, guys. So we're just waiting for them to get back into court. Shouldn't be too much longer. What did they do? What did they do? Hey, hey, hey. See why I don't sing? I never would have made a penny. What's going on? There we go. Oh, I think she knew what was in the bags. I really do, Tony. I mean, I believe she knows a lot more than has come out so far. I'm going to be very interested. Okay, where's the other one? Jazzy, it's okay. People are spinning out. Where is that freaking picture? There it is. There it is. You can sing. Oh my God, man. Can you sing? I think it would be odd to involve yourself in disposing of things and not know, in my opinion. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I think. It, how do they say the math ain't mathing? The math is not mathing. Okay. Multitasking, my friend.
Madam Monitor, do we know what happened?
We do not know, Your Honor, but we were able to rectify whatever that problem was.
Here we are. We're back.
We can bring the jury in, please.
Does Your Honor wish me to get Detective Riley outside? We can call him back in.
Yeah. Yeah, that's your statement, right?
And before the jury comes out, I just wanted to add. to
Yeah.
my,
Reminds me of
the-
Barry Morphew as well. I
the
mean,
use of the
that's
noun
a really good
substitute
example,
weapon
Dandy.
Pictures, yeah, one of the things the court hadn't.
Well, the
ruled
jury's
on.
going to file out while you speak.
Oh, there's no witness. Got it.
Yeah. And there's another guy I hope they charge really soon. Like, holy. And his little girlfriend there, too.
The council
Good
stipulates
question.
to the presence of all of the jurors.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
You may be seated.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Riley, if you wouldn't mind taking a stand next to the TV again. And just to back up a few of my questions. With
Aye.
respect to states not
Fair enough,
filed
fair enough.
a picture 4, I believe. If you could you just, is what's shown in that photograph on the map on the left-hand side?
Yes, with the exception of the state mark G20, which is not depicted on this map.
What area is that stain attributed to?
Area G.
And so the yellow numbered ruler in the, I guess, the middle portion of the photograph?
It would be this line here.
Picture 5, actually.
As stain C0.
Now, with respect to the way the photograph is that how it's depicted on the map? If I can, I would go back to states 4 and draw your attention to the line again. Where is C0 on states 4?
It's here in the center of the photograph.
Please, the mic.
Oh, if you can,
Yep, it's in the center of the photograph.
thank you. And this is picture 5. Again,
And usually in big
Picture
bins,
6.
though, right?
if you could just identify that in the map as well.
Stain C1.
And picture 7.
Stain C2 in the center of the sketch map, from which I see is exhibit 37.
Same process as you indicated before with the swabbing
Same testing and swabbing process, correct?
and the test results.
Positive.
Now, picture 8, sir, what does that depict?
Picture 8 depicts the interior face of the left garage bay door.
Can. Did you seize anything for evidentiary value on the garage bay door?
Yes, I seized a sample of flow-like stain.
So I'm thinking they luminol tested this,
States
didn't they?
9.
After?
Actually, I'm sorry, if I can go back to states 8. Where on the door, if you could please point, did you seize that item?
I know. That's
It's
very
in the
true.
center of the
That's very
photograph,
true.
slightly to the left-hand side.
Okay. For the record, he's pointing to the middle, essentially the middle left of the screen. And states 9, what is
Whoa.
that, sir?
Oh, this,
That is the stain.
yeah.
Sample of which I seized is Exhibit 67.
And the same process
Same swabbing process, same testing process.
and the results?
The test was positive.
Did you process the right side of the garage in the?
Yes.
Are you familiar with Detective Pearson's map for Zone G? I mean, I'm sorry, D,
Area D.
Area D.
Area D.
For the record, this would be States 9, File 9. And photograph 2. Do you recognize what that is, sir?
Yes, this is a.
I'm not
overall
sure
photograph
quite
of
yet.
Area D, the right-hand bay of the garage. Out of frame to the left.
Good
would be
question.
The mudroom door. Give you a little orientation.
There has not, as far as
And
all
are
of
there
that
areas
stuff, there hasn't been a lot that has
below
come
Area
out.
D?
Yes, you can see the marker for Area E and Area F, which would be by the overhead door.
I'll show you States 1 out of that file. What does that show, sir?
That's overall the right-hand garage bag with Area D at the top of the photograph.
I don't think
E
there's
in the middle,
enough
Area F.
to prove something like that, is there?
States 3.
Like these look like smudges. Some of them
Sorry.
look like maybe
What
a
is
shoe
that
print
picture?
and then splattered.
There is a photo of a blood-like stain we found in Area D.
And the 56, what does that mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. So I designated this as
Okay.
State Police Exhibit
Okay.
56. However.
I remember them looking for Jennifer Dulos,
this
and
photograph,
it's just like, oh my
The exhibit
God.
is going to be the photograph of what we thought was a footwear impression or a shoe print.
If I can, sir, just a couple questions. Is that depicted, Exhibit 56?
They've
is
got to have
on
more, right?
Zone D map.
Yes, Exhibit 56 is.
This trial's supposed to last a while.
And with respect to photograph 3, if you can, I'm going to scroll in. What drew your attention to this area?
Well, it's another blood-like stain on the garage.
I'm kind of learning here as we
And
go along
there's a
as
distinctive
well.
Pattern to it.
Oh, could you see the pattern in that photograph or?
Yes.
Okay. Here, I'll scroll on.
It appears to be, see these hash marks here?
And for the record, I would say the middle part.
So are you thinking about the note that Philos Dulos left when he deleted himself?
Picture
Is that the
4,
note you're
what is that,
thinking about?
sir?
Again, that's a stain pattern located here in Area D. Of an apparent footwear impression.
And if
Yeah,
you could
they've
just
also
point
got
to where
footwear
that
impression.
appears on the picture.
That's what
4.
I thought.
It's here in the center of the photograph.
Picture 6.
It's another stain pattern,
And where does that depict on the map?
Exhibit 7.
And if you could please, picture 6, point to what you are describing, please.
In the kind of the lower portion.
Can't see it very well, can we?
Actually, I'm gonna scroll in a little. Oops, sorry. If I can go back to 7D.
A detailed note about something. I kind of missed most of that part on.
Um,
Oh,
with respect
okay.
to,
Okay.
Exhibit 7D, when you were.
I don't think I've heard of that yet,
area, Now
friend.
that it takes over the whole screen, what you were describing.
That's what I'm wondering.
It's a
Exactly.
stain on the garage floor. You can see a partial distinctive pattern.
Oh, my dog's having a nightmare. I hate that. Hang on.
How did you place that 7D marker on there?
I did, yes.
Okay. How do you document this? or sees this as an exhibit?
Well, the hard way would be to jackhammer up the floor and send that to the lab, but that's impractical. So what we decided to do is photograph them properly, 90 degrees with scale, and send the photographs to the lab as Exhibit 70 for identification and possible comparison.
Thank you. And 71, is that depicted on Zone D map as well?
Yes, it is Exhibit 71 here.
And why did you seize that item, sir?
Again, this is another blood-like stain on the garage floor. You can see, that a similar pattern in it. But you can
Yeah.
also see,
She's dreaming about a 900-pound cat.
Picture 8.
Oh, so you're saying this note was cut up in
picture 8
pieces?
is,
Okay, so I don't know anything about
another,
this note or
very
where they
blood-like
found
stain.
it or who
Could
it's
be wipe marks.
supposed to incriminate.
And was this all contained in Area D?
Yes.
And picture 9?
Is she having a nightmare?
Yeah, it's a additional stain pattern.
Okay.
Found in area E.
I can't, I'm gonna scroll. Oops. Up here, this marker, I guess L-shaped marker.
I
again.
mean,
What
realistically,
is that?
why, if it
Again, it's
ends up,
another blood-like stain on
as
the
we're
floor,
I'm assuming, I guess,
with, a similar
they're
pattern,
gonna put
a
this
lot less
to
detail it.
being
And
Jennifer
with respect to
Dulos's
these
DNA.
Items just around, and if you could
So
follow
I
also
guess
cursor, sir,
the
there are
question
little
is
dots or-
why is it there then?
What are they?
It's pretty,
You know,
vegetative matter, plants.
I think we're leading up to that. I'm
Anything-
assuming they've got to have
Picture
something
10,
because the trial's supposed to
uh,
last at least
Was
4
this
weeks.
contained in Area D?
Yes. Right here at the, almost at the border of area E.
And is this the you seize 525?
This is correct. This is the,
And I mean, who's to know? Maybe that footprint is hers. I mean, there's the
With respect
possibility of that,
to
right?
States 9 file.
Her DNA is going to end up somewhere
Familiar
where it
with
shouldn't be.
Pearson's map for area.
But if it's
D?
going to last that long, I think there's got to be. And they've gone out of their way.
Photograph
So
one.
Hey guys, I lost my internet for whatever reason. So we will get back at this. I apologize. I don't know what to restart.
Again, this is the threshold of the overhead door.
There we are. Sorry about that, guys.
A little bit, so that yellow arrow again, what does that depict?
At,
No, my internet kicked out. I don't know what that was all about.
Picture 3?
that is, again, another, like.
Sometimes, yeah. And I've got that Starlink, so I don't know what the hell.
More detail inside this pattern. So we designated it as State Police Exhibit 54.
Damn.
Did in a similar manner as the others.
And is that depicted on the map?
Yes, it's located on the left-hand side of area F.
Picture 4?
Yeah, so it cannot do that again. That would be great.
Picture 4 is another blood-like stain pattern found on the floor.
And picture 5?
That is
Oh, I mean,
blood-like stain.
why is her DNA all over the place like this?
As Exhibit 52.
And with respect to the swabbing process, same swabbing process? And the test results of this one?
The internet's messing up here again, guys. So if I get kicked out, stay where you're at and I'll come back
Take a
in.
look at your exhibit report.
Yes.
Well said, Tony. Yeah, I have no idea this behaving like this. It's usually really good.
Did that sufficiently refresh your recollection, sir, as to the results of the test?
Yes, it did.
And what were the results of the test?
That KM test was negative.
Thank you.
Yeah, every once in a while it's timing out again, so I apologize. I don't know what the hell it's doing.
And is that depicted on the map as well?
Yes. Exhibit 52 is there.
Thank you.
You have to pay the big bucks to
And
get
state
one of these
six.
things, so
Or picture
it
6, I
should
should say.
it
What
should
is that?
frickin' work.
Yeah, that's another overall view of area F.
The only reason we have it is so I can stream.
Are you familiar with area G, sir?
Yes.
And now states 9, file 12.
So yeah, I'm working on another logo
Are you
and
familiar
having a
with,
little bit of
objectives,
problems with it.
questions,
Same logo, but
map?
I'm putting the 3 T's on there somehow. Because when you put them on your hats, it's
Photograph
just, you
1,
can't see
sir,
it.
what
It
does that
doesn't
depict?
like it.
That is a photograph of the center garage bay, 69 wells.
And is area G contained in that photograph?
Area G is in the area in which the Range Rover is parked. So it's in this area here.
Photograph 2?
Photograph 2 are some flood-like stains found in area G up in this area. And for orientation, this is the step into the mudroom.
Now, what are the, were exhibit numbers given to each of these stains?
The stains that I sampled, yes.
With respect to exhibit states picture 3, What is that, sir?
That is a stain we sampled as Exhibit 47.
Is that reflected on the map?
Yes.
Now they
And
picked me at a
When you say
Discord.
sample,
Oh my
did you conduct the
goodness.
swabbing process that you
I-
So
testified
if you
to
don't see
earlier?
me in Discord,
And the test, any test?
I did test that.
I'm trying.
And there were some stains up in this area that tested negative. And just from this, I don't remember which ones were which.
Would it refresh your recollection? Take a look at your exhibit report again,
Yes.
if I may. I'm going to draw your attention to
Oh,
page
my
2 of your
word.
exhibit report. If you could please just take a look.
Okay, I got it.
Sir, did that refresh your recollection?
Yes.
And with respect to the presumptive test that was performed on exhibit 47, do you recall what the results were?
The KM test was negative for this stain.
In 48,
48 was another blood-like stain in the same general area. It's right here by the stairs.
Yeah,
Again, I sampled that.
yeah, that's
and
exactly what I'm
tested-
doing.
Sampled it in a similar manner.
and the results of that one,
Yeah, I'm not sure of either.
if I can.
Are you talking about Starlink? I think you can. I think we all can. I actually know somebody that her son is fighting in Ukraine. And she literally is able to talk to him
Again, I'm just
from
gonna
the
provide
war
counsel- provide-
every
provide
single
you
night
with,
due to Starlink.
11A, or I'm sorry, 11 for ID, which is the exhibit report. Sir, if you can just take a minute and take a look at that, if you can,
True
to refresh
story.
your recollection with respect to the results of any testing performed on exhibit 48 on 5/27.
Yeah, the KM test for exhibit 48 was positive.
49,
49, another blood-like stain.
I think I've come up with the one I like, but we'll have to see if I can.
It was tested and swabbed.
I need to be able to
collected in
download
the
it.
Same
It's
manner
not letting
as
me.
the others. And the test
Yeah,
result for this
3P
stain was negative.
Yes.
and picture 6,
Again, another blood-like stain on the garage floor, located here. I sampled it, tested and sampled it.
I think I understand what you're trying to.
And the test result was negative.
picture 7,
Picture 7 is a fragment of paper towel found under the left front tire of the Range Rover.
Ooh.
See it, it's located here.
did you take any action with respect to that?
After it was photographed, I just collected it now.
Picture 8,
Is a photo of a blood-like stain. Again, it appears to be a swipe located in area G. A sample of which was seized as exhibit 45. It was tested and collected in the same manner.
do you recall the results?
The test result for this stain was positive.
See, that's bigger.
Picture 9,
That is a stain pattern. It was designated G20 for a blood-like stain.
What the hell happened in this garage?
Exhibit 36. I tested it and swabbed it, collected it in the same manner, and the test result for this was positive.
And where did they put her?
picture 10,
Allegedly.
As the stain marked as G19, located in area G, that I tested, swabbed, and collected in the same manner. The KM test result for this was positive.
picture 11,
That's this is a picture of the stain pattern
found in area G after, I'm sorry, 2 stain patterns found in area G. And this photograph was taken after the Range Rover was removed.
Did they take a luminol test here? I really hope so.
Actually gonna go down to.
Yeah,
And what
but the
does
thing
this
is, when
photograph depict? So
it
there's
doesn't
two
show
states.
up.
This was a photograph at, along the process of Lieutenant Davison's examination of the.
Oh, look
of
at
the stains
that.
on the floor.
And if I may just have a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
Confirm the counsel.
Yeah, I'm really curious if we're going to see luminol pictures, hopefully after they've removed the vehicle. But I love what you're thinking there, Tony. Yeah, yeah.
Your Honor, have on a separate disc 10, states 10, I believe there's no objection to it. If I may just have a moment to switch it out.
Yes. No objection, Attorney General.
No objection, that's correct.
Stage 10 will be admitted as a full exhibit.
I'll see if I can find that note
Sir, were you
somewhere,
present when
Tony.
the Range Rover was removed from the garage?
Yes.
And did you conduct further processing of the garage scene with the Range Rover removed?
Yes.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's
And
a, I
scrolling
mean,
behind you, sir, this is
right?
states 10, filed 16.
Sick mofos.
Can, what does that depict?
Nothing is impossible at this point. I mean, everything's open.
That appears to be a blow-like stain, that swipe pattern, sample from area G.
And
We brought the exhibit number. Yes, this was tested and sampled and seized as State Police Exhibit 45.
And just to be clear, the same process, same everything?
Yes.
Okay, results?
The test results for this was positive.
And at some point.
That's
the
a
Range
horrible
Rover
thought. I
removed
mean,
it from the
where is she?
garage.
Where is Jennifer Dulos?
I believe we just towed it out of the garage and winched it up on a flatbed.
Okay. And did you continue processing the garage floor?
Well, I kind of thought maybe it was
Yes.
from an attack
Turn your attention to the
close to the
photograph
vehicle.
two.
That's what I,
What does that
that's
depict?
kind of where I was going.
That depicts the 2 stain patterns.
I mean,
Would have been underneath
your
the
explanation
Range Rover.
is as good as any
One
other.
here in the lower part of the photo, and one here a little bit higher.
Can- Just scrolling in,
Very
so
true,
does
John.
that, the higher one appear on the screen?
Yes, up in this area here.
Okay. Now, what does picture 3 do?
That is the selected stains that were designated as GW1, GW2, GW3, GW4, and GW5.
And sir, what does GW mean?
Area G, I'm not sure what the W stands for. That would be Lieutenant Davison's area of
Marking.
expertise.
And were these I'm going to show you a series of photographs, please. You just indicated some numbers. Are these the ones that correspond to the numbers that you marked?
Correct.
Okay, that would be for the records for photo, sorry, 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4. Are photos 4 through 8 depicted in photo 3?
Yes.
Okay. Now, photo 9, what is that, sir?
This is that upper stain pattern in area G. It was seen in the overall photograph. Where you have stain GE1, GE2, GE3.
That's what I think.
And GE5.
That's what I think.
And just briefly, you could take a look at 10. What does that depict, sir?
That stain designated as GE1.
Could you point to the, okay. And
I don't know if that was her vehicle or not. I thought the Range Rover was
Thank
hers.
you. Picture 11,
This is stain GE2 in the center of the photograph.
is this oriented like this picture? Sir, if I can, back to,
So much has been going on, Dandy. It's been hard to research, do deep dives on these like we like to.
so
But at the same time, I also like to learn as we're going
which way
because
is
we
it
can
on
react
the garage floor? Is it perpendicular or I guess parallel?
organically, I guess
So
is
if you
the phrase
turn
that they'd
this
use.
photo, clockwise, they would align.
Okay.
It was just taken from a different angle.
Picture 12,
Yeah, I know. know.
Stain GE3 in the center of the photograph.
Oh,
Stain
and
G.
I apologize, same question with respect to GE3.
Similar, the scales did not move.
Okay. And GE4?
G4, again, the stain in the center of the photograph. And the scale did not move from the overall.
And GE5?
G5, similar. Is this elongated stain here? And again, it's oriented, the scale's in the same position in the overall photograph.
Just safe to say it's the way the photograph was
I'm
done.
pondering that,
Exactly.
Tony. I'm pondering
The
it.
frame was taken.
And picture 15, please.
15 is a photo of a stain on the garage floor. Appears to be a
large?
tire mark.
Thank you. If I may, Your Honor, the state's going back to states 9.
Good question again. I can't say. I'm not sure yet. If I remember correctly, that truck that they were driving around in, I don't think that was their vehicle. I don't think that was one of their vehicles. I always end up in the corner. I'm already thinking of supper. Chinese food or Greek food? Which is better for diabetes, would you say? Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, Tony.
States 9, file 13. Sir, what does that depict?
These are the garbage cans
Yeah?
that were found inside
Okay.
of the garage at 69 Wells.
That's
They
what
were
I
in the
kind of
corner
thought.
Of the right-hand bay. The garage door would be on the right-hand side of your photograph.
And did you find anything of evidentiary value on the garbage cans?
Yes, there were blood-like stains found up and around the lids on both garbage cans.
Photograph 2, what is that?
That is a photograph of the left garbage can.
And photograph 3.
Yeah, that appears to be the left garbage can.
I really hope that they didn't take her apart.
Here and here.
Photograph 4.
That is a photograph, refer to my report to get left or right.
If it would refresh your recollection,
Yes.
please.
That's a photograph of the left-hand garbage can that you saw in the overall photo. This was taken during the evidence collection process. And it was tested, swabbed, and collected as State Police Exhibit 66 from this area here.
Were there other swabbings that were taken out of the garbage cans?
On the right-hand garbage can. So as the right-hand garbage can, again, in a similar area, found a glow light stain.
And with respect to the garbage cans, about how many stain or swabbings did you take in all of the left garbage can? If it could refresh your recollection to go to your report, please.
Still the same, 2 swabs.
And with respect to the right side garbage can?
2 swabs.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
were those
That's
also
scary,
tested?
isn't it?
Yes,
And the results?
positive.
Sadly, we hear of it more often than
Now, sir,
It's
did you
just a
have an
scary thought.
opportunity to examine the Chevy Suburban that you, or be part of the processing of the Chevy Suburban that you earlier in the day had gone to Lapham Road to
Yes.
examine?
this is Jennifer
You can have a
Dulos.
seat, sir. When was that?
That was on June the 28th, so it would have been the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
And actually, prior to leaving 69 Wells that day on May 27th, 2019, you testified earlier about latent prints. Did you conduct any latent print documentation?
Yes, we did.
I'm actually going to go to States 9 File 4.
I don't think I'm familiar with that case, Tom.
Where did you take latent prints from?
Well, we searched for latent prints around the points of entry.
I'm going to object as non-responsive.
Okay.
Well, the question is, where did you take latent prints from? And the answer was, we searched for latent prints. It is non-responsive to
I
say.
will ask some foundation questions, sir. What exactly is a latent print?
It's a, lack of a better term, an invisible fingerprint. A
Okay.
fingerprint, that's deposited on a surface that needs some sort of development.
Where was that out of?
To make it visible.
Oh, Michigan?
And is there a process that you
Okay.
utilize in searching for these?
Yes.
What is that process?
Process is visual observation, utilizing side lighting, different lighting techniques. And then in this case, it was the application of just standard fingerprint powders.
And how does fingerprint powder allow you to?
I'm gonna check it
search
out.
for latent prints?
The fingerprint powder is extremely fine and it adheres to the fingerprint residue and makes the print visible.
And did you conduct that process at 69 Wells?
Yes.
At what locations?
Various locations throughout the house, the first floor, and around the points of entry, around the mudroom door, around that the kitchen island.
I'm going to show you some photographs, sir, if I can. If you could take a look behind you. States 9. This is file 4. What do you see, sir, depicted in that photograph?
That's an overall photo of the door leading into the mudroom from the garage after latent print processing and prior to the collection of the prints.
And well, actually, I'm sorry, I went too fast. If you could, would you mind standing up?
Sure.
And going back to the screen? Thank you. Couple questions, sir. Where is all on that photograph, if anywhere on that photograph, you mentioned the black powder, fingerprint powder? If you could just describe it for the record, please.
Right, it's all, it's this dark colored smudges all over the white door.
Did you put that on there?
Yes, I was one of the people who searched for latent fingerprints with.
I'm going to check is non-responsive. It's either he did it or it was one of the people.
Well, question was, did you do that? He said he was one of the people. The court understands parenthetically who did it. Overruled.
What is the process for putting that fingerprint powder on a door such as this?
We have special brushes that we use, that we put the fingerprint powder on and apply it to the surface. And sometimes fingerprints readily appear, become visible. Sometimes it takes a little bit of work to clean up smudges and things like that with the brushes.
And how would you do that?
Uh,
Clean up smudges, or what do you mean by that?
Oh, you just, if, to get more detail out of the print, you'll work it with finer brushes, smaller brushes.
I wish that's
Clean out,
all just
the
confess,
fingerprint
like,
powder from in between the
come
brushes
on.
that you see on the print.
And we wouldn't get the
Develop
trials,
any
but at the
latent
same
prints out of
time,
the mudroom door?
when
Yes.
you
Where?
pretty much have evidence
Right here. above
that
the,
there's
box
guilt,
cylinder.
why in God's green earth? It's like Koberger in my mind, guilty as sin.
Picture
And he's
2.
fighting it. It's like, come on,
Sir,
just
what does that
say
show?
you did it, you little shit.
So this is the latent prints prior to collection, prior to lifting them.
Ooh,
What do you mean by
parrot.
that?
So we will take photographs, obviously, to try and pick up the detail. And then once that's completed, we'll go ahead and take adhesive lifters. Usually it's adhesive clear acetate, almost like tape. In this case, down here, we used a gelatin lifter, which is a thin layer of gelatin on a rubberized backing. It's just used for different surfaces.
And the markings on the measurement tape, or the white stickers, I should say, what exactly does that mean?
So the LP stands for latent print. So we run them sequentially. So this would be
Your
latent
Honor,
print.
again, I'm going to object unless he's referring to himself in the plural. I would ask that he at least clarify whether he did this or someone else did it, just for clarification.
Well, the question, as the court understood it, is not whether he did it. He was asked to explain what those designations mean, if the court understood it correctly.
That was the state's question, Your Honor.
Overruled.
So this is my handwriting on the markings. So LP stands for latent print. Latent print 7, which is also designated as State Police Exhibit 82. Here, LP 8, latent print 8, State Police Exhibit 83.
Did you go anywhere else in the house and conduct this process?
Yes.
Where?
The kitchen of the residence.
And with respect to the mudroom door, is this the side going into the garage or the side going into the kitchen?
So this is what we designated as the exterior side. So this is the garage side of that mudroom door.
Picture 3, do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes, this is the area around the inside face of the mudroom door. You can see down here where I had removed the.
Dandy has a bunch of parrots.
so
4,
this
I
is
think.
the,
I just think that's so awesome.
casings. You see LP1, latent print 1, exhibit 73. Above that, latent print 2, exhibit 74.
So whose prints are these going to end up being?
And down.
And are they
on the
latent
wall,
prints in DNA?
75, which is latent print 3.
The blue writing, is that actually on the wall?
Yes, I did that with a grease pencil and China marker.
Why would you do that?
That designates which one I'm actually looking at, or what the actual lift is. So and it just depends on the amount of detail in that print. So in a photograph, if I just put up a scale, I don't know which one of these is the exhibit. That's why we, circle it.
I wonder what's going
China
on with these
marker,
prints.
and the arrow
This
just
interests me.
orients the print. And then sometimes that gets picked up on the lifter itself. So it's more for the examiner.
Whose print and is it in?
Search
Jennifer's
for
DNA.
layout in the kitchen area.
Yes, I did.
Where?
Mainly around the kitchen aisle, where I found those other exhibits.
Show you what's been marked as picture 4. Do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes, that's the inside of one of the cabinet doors.
And if you can, that same blue.
Like, this is very
on
interesting,
there,
but
can
I'd
you
like
explain
to
that,
know.
Correct, that's, I marked out the print in blue China marker and designated it as latent print 4, exhibit 76.
So are these going to end up being this Michelle
Marked as
Troconis?
A5.
Her prints?
What does this photograph depict, sir?
That is on one of the entry doors. May I refer my report to?
If it would refresh your recollection, please.
Look at all those prints. And yet there's
Okay, this is
certain ones
French
that we're
doors
looking
leading
at.
out to the backyard, the rear patio.
And if you could walk me through, did you do this one?
I'm not sure if I dusted this, but I designated it and marked it up.
And if you could just walk me through what you did.
So
So
please
after
do tell me whose
the latent
prints
prints were
are,
developed,
like, come on.
I go around, people tell me where they found prints, and I will go around with a magnifying glass, pick out the prints with the best detail, mark them and label them in a similar manner, then notify the photographers as to their locations so they can be properly photographed prior to collection.
Aren't you guys curious?
And
What?
picture 6, please.
That is off of a
Ooh.
exterior door handle. And if I could refer to my report, I can get you the correct door.
If you can, thank you.
Okay, that's the same set of French doors that we took prints off of in the previous photograph. And this is one of the exterior handles. And you can see the.
Can you imagine having to go through that entire
I remember
house?
developing this, and then I went ahead and marked it. There's Exhibit 80, latent print.
It would take forever. Again, this place is something like 9,800
Now,
square
I
feet.
asked you previously.
So that would be on
about
one
the
floor, right?
Chevy Suburban. If you can, just briefly, and did you have an opportunity to process the Chevy Suburban at a later date?
Yes,
What day was that?
it was the 28th of May in 2019.
Where were you located?
At the New Canaan Police Department, the vehicle was located in their Sally Port.
And who was with you during that processing?
It was Sergeant Joe Duva was our supervisor. It's myself, Detective McGavin, I believe Detective Pearson, Detective Keppel.
And if I can, sir, I'm going to draw your attention just to take a look behind you. This is under.
And I couldn't even imagine. I wonder how many
513.
people they had to hire to do such cleaning.
Picture 1. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes, that's the Chevy Suburban prior to our start of processing.
So I think this is a vehicle that they
Picture 2.
found
That's the rear of the Chevy Suburban.
Picture 3.
That's a view of one of the running boards of the Chevy Suburban.
And if I can scroll in a little bit. Sir, what is depicted in the white marker and the, I guess, pink arrow as well?
Right, so that's a blood-like stain we found just above one of the running boards. It was designated, tested, and swabbed and collected in the same manner as we did in the house.
And with respect to the results
The test results were positive.
and the swabbing, did you conduct that in the same process as you did the 2 swabs? and
Yes, 2
every-
swabs, same collection.
Now, were you wearing gloves and protective gear in the course of processing the vehicle?
Yes, just gloves.
By the way, what was your assignment with respect to May 28th processing the vehicle?
I still maintained a position of evidence collection officer for this.
Picture 5, sir.
That is a blood-like stain pattern found on the lower edge of one of the doors.
And picture 6.
That's a sample from the stain pattern. I tested, collected as State Police Exhibit 106. The arrow denotes the stains that I took.
The stains that you took for what? The
Oh, I'm sorry, that I swabbed and collected as evidence.
State 7.
Again, those are additional stain patterns found on the door of the Suburban.
And states 8.
And that's another blood-like stain pattern.
And same questions, same.
It was tested, collected, and marked in a similar fashion, collected with the. two
He
swabs.
said that he changed his gloves each time. I
Each
don't
time?
know.
That's the blood-like stain that I first saw on the bumper on Lapham Road. And again, I tested it, collected it, and marked it as State Police Exhibit 105, and the test results were positive.
States 10.
That is blood-like stains that were found on the steering wheel of the Chevy Suburban.
And same question, sir. Did you?
Same collection method. It was tested, test results were positive. It was swabbed and collected as State Police Exhibit 118.
Were there also any swabbings done further of the inside of the vehicle?
Yes.
Where?
I do believe we did DNA swabs of the various parts of inside of the vehicle in an attempt to collect DNA. So we choose these areas based upon the areas that people touch when they're driving. So the insides of doors, steering wheels, top and bottom, gear shift, areas such as that.
States 11. What does that depict, sir?
That's the rear cargo area of the Chevy Suburban. The adhesive scales in the pink arrows denote areas where blood-like staining was found.
Specifically, I'm going to ask you about states 12. What is that?
That is an area of blood-like staining. It's hard to see with the dark carpet. And that was found in the rear cargo area. It was tested, collected and seized in the same manner as all the other swabbings of blood-like stains. It was denoted as State Police Exhibit 121.
And the test results?
Test results were positive.
Oh, one more, sir. What is that?
That's a blood-like stain found on, I believe it's the driver's side wall of the rear cargo area.
So dry, guys, so dry.
Also, field tested positive for blood and was swabbed and collected as exhibit, State Police Exhibit 120.
Your Honor, with respect to the next few photographs the state intends to introduce, I know the court's ruling previously, but if I would, perhaps now would be a time to excuse the jury for a few minutes, or the state can go into it.
Well, the court would not expect 10 minutes worth of argument.
No, sir.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we will excuse you for a brief period. There will be some discussion of the next exhibit. And so we ask that you retire to the deliberation room and please do not discuss the case.
In, out, in, out, in, out. I'm really curious, like they have a lot of
Please
stuff
be seated.
in that garage. I'm wondering if it's going to lead to her in any which way, or is this all going to be
Put those up on the
silos
screen,
or
Or, Your Honor, if I may, I believe.
random stranger?
This would be picture 14,
Yeah,
picture 15.
yeah, they're objecting to
And picture
absolutely
16.
everything. It's going to be 6 weeks.
Easiest way for the court to probably do this is just
If
a
I may.
brief offer of proof as to how these exhibits are going to be explained.
If I may, Your Honor, may I just
Yes.
inquire of Detective
Yes.
Riley? Thank you. Detective Riley, I'm going to have you draw your attention to photograph 14 behind you. What does that depict, please?
That's a photo of the rear cargo area. It's a time exposure. So the photo's taken over a longer period of time after the application of a chemical called luminol.
Okay. a couple
Ah,
questions
bring
about
on the
this,
luminol.
okay? With respect to the content of the photograph, you said rear cargo area, is that of the Chevy Suburban?
Correct.
Okay. Now, with the, were you present when this happened?
Yes.
Okay. You used the word luminol. What does that mean?
It's a chemical that we use to detect latent blood. That is blood that's not readily seen. We use it
Yeah,
as a
bring on the
search.
luminol.
It's not we don't use it as a presumptive. We use it to search for blood that's not readily visible. If we find stains of or areas of interest with the luminol, we'll go ahead, conduct further observations. We utilize the KM test, and if the KM test is positive, then we'll take evidentiary samples from those areas.
And with respect to a luminol, does that give it any presumptive, wait, you said luminol for blood that's not readily available. How does that work? Or readily seen, I guess is the way you said it.
Correct. Yeah, the blood, we use it to search for latent blood. So the luminol reacts, it glows blue due to the iron present in blood. However, it reacts with substances that contain iron, along with several other different substances. What we do is once we mix up a batch of luminol that we're going to use on scene, we'll apply it to our known blood sources, the horse blood, the pig blood, and see how that reacts. And then we'll use it on an area of interest and see if we see any similar reaction.
So is it really the detection of iron? Is that what luminol is looking for?
Well, that's what luminol reacts to in blood.
And with respect to the fact, well, strike that if I can. You said you mix it up on scene.
Yes.
Walk me through that process.
So we get our luminol from a forensic supply house. It comes with a solvent, a bottle of solvent, and the luminol comes in powder form. We follow the instructions, we mix them together, we attach a spray head, and then we'll apply it to a surface.
Is this something that you're trained in?
Yes. I remember one class where we did use luminol.
And is this a tool that you have utilized in the course of your career at the Connecticut State Police?
Yes.
About how often?
Not a lot. I would say I've probably applied luminol 15 to 20 times.
And with respect to the photograph exposure process, how does that work?
So we'll set a camera up on a tripod so it's steady. We'll put the camera settings to keep the shutter of the camera open for a longer period of time. And then we'll apply the luminol, and if there's a reaction, we'll open the shutter, the camera will do its thing, and once the photograph's complete, we'll move to a different area.
Is there a lighting on anywhere around?
Yeah, I apologize. So luminol has to be used in a darkened room. The bluish glow is very faint if we have a reaction. So in this case, we close the sally port door. If there were windows on it, I don't remember if there were, they would be papered over. So we basically work in the dark with flashlights.
If I may have one moment. That would be the state's offer, essentially. Your Honor.
May I briefly cross?
Well, this is just essentially an offer of proof.
Yes.
So this is how the court understands the offer. Luminol detects blood that cannot be seen with the naked eye. However, it detects, and the court is not certain that this was the testimony, it detects any substance that contained iron. That includes blood. After that, there's further testing. After that, there may be the swabbing and the collection and essentially the KM test. That's how the court understands the testimony. The photos.
Isn't this
that are
ridiculous? Like, this is absolutely ridiculous.
viewed at this time are time-lapse photos. In other words, this isn't a snapshot, as the court understands it. The time-lapse photo. The blue as it appears on the screen, as the court understands it, is bluer than what would be seen typically, because the testimony and the offer was that the blue is very faint. Here on the screen, the blue is not very faint. So during this offer, the court will ask you, detective, is the color of the blue on the photograph darker than the blue that would appear after the application of luminol?
That's what a positive reaction looks like, Your Honor.
So you would describe that as faint?
It's faint where if it was in natural daylight, you wouldn't be able to see it.
Oh, but because it's against the backdrop of essentially a dark backdrop, it looks more vivid than it would look.
No, that's fair, Your Honor.
Well, the defense is concerned, Attorney Schoenhorn, you may indicate.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I really don't know what the hell they're doing. It's baffling to me what they're arguing.
Appearance of the back of the vehicle. But my bigger concern is there wasn't this luminol is not a detection for blood. It's a detection for iron. This is the back of the
Good God,
vehicle.
man.
It
They've used
detects
luminol
more
for
iron. I understand
years.
It also can detect copper.
This
It
guy.
also can detect any vegetables or that have iron, such as turnips and horseradish, those kind of root vegetables.
Which is
and
why it's
number of,
presumptive.
any other kind of food that might contain.
And luminol
meats
has
and
been used
whatnot,
for
or,
years and years and years.
if a child was eating a
Overruled.
hamburger in
Let's
the
bring
back,
the
it
jury back
spilled a
in.
little bit in the back. So more so my concern than more so even than the.
I've never
concern I
seen
have
such a
about the
thing, guys.
Meyer test where there's an observation. It was a test was performed, a presumptive test, and then it was passed on. Here, there was no confirmatory test whatsoever. Therefore, and when the DNA from these areas was later tested, there was no DNA that was determined to conform to the DNA of Jennifer Dulos. So, in addition
Well
to
said.
the concern I have about it being misleading, the additional concern I have is that in light of what is going to happen later,
Yeah,
there is
overruled.
no
Hi.
relevance to it
Sit down.
whatsoever. And I'll just note as an aside, my other
Have a seat,
concern
sir.
is that court allowed in this Castle-Meyer multiple times, suggesting that, well, I can take care of that in cross-examination. My concern, Judge, is that's shifting the burden to the defense to go over each and every time there was a claimed presumptive.
That's your job.
And it determined that many of them turned out to be negative when they were tested in the lab. But my concern here is different, at least in the other.
Good Lord, man.
My other objection, there was, as I understand it, the court said there was a visible item that was being tested, and that was why the witness did what he did. Anything
Good God.
else here, he's already testified up until this point that there were items he swiped. He can simply testify that he did take additional samples in the back without getting into what luminol is, what it does, and since it doesn't test for blood, it tests, and I left out bleach is another substance that glows when luminol is applied. I don't know how that's going to, I don't even know if the state would then not put on evidence of the what was done in the back of the car, and therefore that leads to the defense having to call laboratory people to say, no, it was negative. It leaves a false impression that this was in fact somehow blood, when I think the court is correct. It only tests for things that have iron in them. And I would know copper is not iron, but it also tests for copper. But in a motor vehicle, all of those things, especially in the cargo compartment, would likely be found. And I'll just incorporate my prior arguments so I don't have to repeat anything.
Well,
If I can just clarify.
The court can address this right now. The, again, issue of false impression, essentially giving life to what may be considered to be misleading, is not evident here. Not only is the luminol application far from conclusive, it is not even at the level of presumptive. It detects many more things than blood. It detects iron. Then there's further testing to get it up to the point of even being presumptive.
Exactly.
The court sees no danger for unfair prejudice or misleading evidence. The court is going to allow the evidence.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Understanding the court's, I'm not understanding Your Honor's ruling, because what the court said is it has essentially no evidentiary value, and then the court rules that it's admissible. Could the court at least articulate how it gets to that position? I'm just trying to understand if down the road, since we're going to be having this happen more often than you think.
The court did not say it has no probative value. Relevant evidence is evidence that has any tendency to make a material fact
It's
more
okay.
likely or less likely than it would be without the evidence. The court did not say it has no probative value. The state has the opportunity to present the case the way the state wishes to.
Sorry, guys.
If it wishes to present evidence of luminol and latent blood that falls below a presumptive finding, that's the state's determination.
I'll just ask the court to note my strong exception, since I'll just remind the court that State versus Moody said that luminol has no.
This guy's a pain in the butt.
So the fact
Major
the court
pain in the butt.
says that it does, I don't know where to go with that other than to just enter my strong objection.
Ah, okay,
Bring the jury
understood.
back.
Just prior to the jury coming out, Your Honor, those 3 photographs are still ID only. May I just inquire, they moved to be full exhibit at this time?
I don't even understand why that was a thing.
Would counsel stipulate to the presence of all of the jurors?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do you wish to make your offer of those exhibits?
Yes, Your Honor, I would. This would be States 9, file 14. The offer involves photographs 14, 15, and 16.
And objection, Attorney Schornor.
I stated my objection.
Thank you. Overruled. Which numbers are they, please?
They are States 9, file
Overruled.
14, numbered photographs 14, 15,
Sit
and
down,
16.
sir.
States 9, file 14, photographs 14, 15, and 16 admitted as full exhibit.
Thank you. Sir, if I can, I'm going to draw your attention. Here. States 13, if you can take a look at it, sir, is that, where is that located in the Chevy Suburban?
That area is in the rear cargo compartment of the Chevy Suburban. That would be on the driver's side.
With respect to the rear cargo area of the Chevy Suburban, did you do anything to?
So this is the vehicle that
the
they
car
found,
with respect to that
not the
area?
one at
Yes.
the Range
What did you
Rover in the garage.
We conducted a search for not only visible flood-like stains, but latent flood-like stains.
What do you mean by latent?
Latent just means that you can't see it. It needs something to be developed.
And what did you do to develop that?
So we utilized a chemical called luminol that we get from a chemical supply house. It's a liquid that you spray onto a surface in a darkened environment, and it will react with the iron contained in blood and glow a faint blue.
And with respect to reacting with the iron in blood, does it react to other things as well?
It reacts with a lot of different things.
Can you name a few, please?
So it reacts with iron, or anything with iron in it. It'll react with bleach. So it's a limited use in like a bathroom. And it'll also react with some foods as well. There's a laundry list. We utilize it as a search tool. We have to do further presumptive tests, and then, of course, any samples that we collect, we have to send to a laboratory for confirmatory tests.
And just for the record, the photograph 13 behind you, was that KM tested as well?
That exhibit was KM tested.
Okay. And seized as exhibit, what exhibit number did you see?
State Police Exhibit 120.
With respect to the pink arrow, what does that depict?
That's the area where I took those evidentiary swabs from.
Now I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 14. What does that depict, sir?
That is a time exposure of our application of luminol.
Of well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Of
This
what?
is, sorry. This is the rear cargo area of the Chevy Suburban. While it was still parked in the Sally Port, we close the doors, we make it a darkened environment. And, we sprayed luminol throughout the rear cargo area. It took several time exposures.
where do you get the luminol from?
We get it from a forensic supply house.
And how do you, I guess, apply the luminol?
So it comes, the kit that we get from the chemical supply house comes with a bottle of solvent, and then luminol comes in powder form. We mix those two together. We attach a spray head, and then we do a test on our known blood samples, or either pig blood or horse blood, and see what kind of reaction we get. Then we will apply it to an area of interest and see if we get any reactions. If
So
we
they
get
test the
reactions,
luminol before they even
we'll
use
go
it.
ahead and test those areas with the Castlemeyer test, and then determine whether or not we want to take evidentiary samples.
And did you do that in this case?
Yes.
Okay. How did you take a photograph?
The photograph is.
So preliminary
is
testing
time
is what they're
exposure.
fighting
So
against.
basically, we put the camera on a tripod and either set the automatic settings or set shutter settings. So the shutter stays open on the camera for a longer period of time. Since it's a darkened environment, it takes that amount of time to take in enough light to make a photograph.
And were you, well, I'm going to show you behind you states 15. What does that depict, sir?
That was taken during our luminol examination. That's, again, the rear cargo area of the Chevy Suburban.
So it lit up in the
Focused on
back
the
there.
driver's side of the vehicle.
And states 16. What does that depict, sir?
Again, taken during the luminol examination, and that's the passenger side of the rear cargo area.
Did you have an opportunity to examine the Chevy Suburban at a later date?
Yes.
When was that?
I don't know why the
June the
defense was
26th
arguing
of,
this.
2019.
And what was the purpose of that?
The purpose of that was to try and search for additional biologic material to aid the medical examiner's cause and manner investigation.
Did you look at a specific area of the vehicle?
The undercarriage specifically.
And by undercarriage, what do you mean?
The underside of the car.
File 16, show you picture 17. Do you recognize that?
Yes.
What is that?
That is the Chevy Suburban, Jennifer Dulos's Chevy Suburban.
Where is the location of this? Where was the location of this processing?
This was processed at Troop G Bridgeport.
Picture 18. What does that depict, sir?
That is the passenger side of the Chevy Suburban. You can see the black metal of the door on the upper part of the photograph.
If you wouldn't mind, again, sir, if you can get up and point to the photograph, please.
So you have the vehicle here, and here is the undercarriage. This is the underside of step bumper, frame rail. And this is some blow-like material we found on the edge of the undercarriage.
The word written on the white side, what does that mean?
So that was placed there by the photographer to designate which direction is the front of the vehicle. Because, you know, the photographs can get a little confusing.
Picture 19, what is that?
Okay, this is an item of interest that we found during examination of the undercarriage. Again, this is on the passenger side. We're looking at this this clearish little specimen right there. So, and we designated this as item A. Our collection process for this is I removed this with a sterile scalpel, packaged it in a little paper fold, and later the next day transported it to the medical examiner's office so he can do he can put it underneath the microscope and see you know what kind of cells are there. In the same area, after this was removed, I went ahead and swabbed the area with sterile water, same manner, with 2 swabs.
And photograph 20, please.
Item B, I believe is.
What do you guys think of this luminol testing?
So you can see the exhaust here, bolts for the running board. And so I'm looking at this little fleck of material right there. Again, this was collected in a similar manner.
Picture 21.
Item C is on the running board. This area here. You see it's a little heavier of a stain.
This is absolutely curious to me.
There's a little, it appears to be like a little yellow to it. It's different than, you know, there's more there than just typical blood-like staining, so that's why it was not of interest. Again, this is collected in a similar manner, scraped off into a paper fold, and then the area was swabbed afterwards.
Picture 22, please.
This is a photo of what would look to us to be a footwear impression on the inside one of the wheels of the Chevy Suburban. And I believe this was taken on the 28th of May during our vehicle process.
Picture 23.
Again, we printed the exterior of the vehicle. And I believe we took a swab from here, but I'm not really sure now.
Would it refresh your recollection to take a look at your exhibit report?
Yes.
What the hell is that? Looks like a cat.
May I approach the clerk, Your Honor? So I'm going to show you what's been marked as ID states 12. If you can, just take a look, and please don't read from it. Let me know when you're done. Did that refresh your recollection, sir,
Yes.
as to if there was a swap done of that photo, what's depicted in that photograph?
Yeah, so this is the exterior side of the vehicle's tailgate. This is the bottom edge right here. And during our examination of, you can see the application of fingerprint powders. All right, so there's not a lot of There's absolutely no ridge detail here whatsoever. However, it was handled, so we swabbed it. I took 2 swabs that were moistened with sterile water, swabbed this area, and then collected it and designated it as State Police Exhibit 113.
And picture 24, sir.
This was taken during a latent print exam of the exterior of the vehicle. Again, we're running sequentially with latent print numbers, so this is latent print 11, State Police Exhibit 114, and
Well, good morning, Mexi.
Blue China mark, arrow for orientation.
Oh, thank you.
Picture 25.
It's appears to us to be like a partial palm print found on, not sure where exactly this was on the Suburban.
Would it refresh your recollection, give the ability to report?
Yes.
Must be getting close to lunch.
And just for the record, I'm almost done with this section. And one more question after this.
Well, it's the answer, the length of the answer that concerns me. So the court is going to conclude for the lunch recess after this photograph.
There we go.
Thank you.
This is
And I'll set up another
this is
stream.
developed on the rear edge of the right front door. So, kind of near the window, okay? And so, again, designated as latent print number 12.
Ah, dandy.
115, marked and
It's
lifted
dry. It's
in
dry.
the same manner.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we approach our lunch and recess. We plan to resume at 2 o'clock. Please do not discuss the case. Thank you.
Okay, so I will set up another stream for an hour from now. And hopefully it gets a little bit more interesting. This has been very, very dry. I'm looking forward to hearing from some witnesses. So guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me. And I will see you back here in an hour. Okay, guys, I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.